I drop my keys into the bowl by the door and slump against the frame, drained from another day of meetings that felt like performances. My apartment is quiet. Too quiet, but it's the only place where I pretend to be okay. I throw my bag down and reach for my phone on the console. It flashes with a message I don't recognize. A video from Aunt Susan. She never sends videos. My thumb hesitates over the screen. I sit in my worn armchair, the one that still holds a hint of my grandmother's perfume, and tap play. The footage opens to my parents' living room. The couch, the lamp, the framed photos I used to study for approval. My mother's laugh is bright and easy, the kind of laugh I never earned. There's a smugness in it I've heard 100 times, but never like this. She's the one who always covers things, my mother says, voice syrupy. Our little cash machine. My heart drops. Beside her, Dad tips his head back and laughs, the wine in his face. The words land like punches. They talk about me like I'm a predictable fixture, someone whose kindness is nothing more than an ATM. Then Ethan's voice cuts in, casual and light, the way people sound when they don't have to carry the weight. Did you see how fast she wired the money for that emergency? No questions. She never asks, she just does. Their laughter bounces off the walls and into my chest. I can feel the floor tilt. Memories unspool, late-night calls begging for help, furtive visits asking for cash, missed chances at life while I worked more hours to keep the roof over someone else's head. Each memory sharpens into something ugly, not accident, but calculation. I stare at the screen until the pixels blur. Tears prick my eyes, but I keep watching, because looking away would mean I'd still be surprised when the truth reveals itself. The truth is this: I was giving until there was nothing left, and they treated my loyalty like currency. A hollow anger rises, and with it, the realization that some things you can't unknow. The video ends, but the ache remains, a new kind of ignition, lighting up everything I thought I understood about family. A weight presses down on my chest until every breath feels like swallowing glass. The video keeps playing, but their voices blur beneath the ringing in my ears. My world tilts, slow and dizzying, as I grip the armrest just to stay grounded. Even the fabric beneath my fingers feels wrong. Too soft, too normal, in a moment that's tearing reality apart. Then I see it, the timestamp in the corner. The video was recorded yesterday, during the small family gathering Mom mentioned. I hadn't gone. I was working late again, trying to rebuild the savings I'd drained for one of Ethan's so-called emergencies. My phone lights up with a flood of messages. Aunt Susan, oh my God Lily, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to send that to you. Please delete it. But she did send it. And I can't unsee it. I replay the video. Each time, the truth becomes sharper, colder, impossible to deny. The laughter isn't careless, it's cruel. Their tone isn't loving, it's calculated. They talk about me like a tool, a convenience, not a daughter or a sister. My phone buzzes again, Mom calling. Her smiling contact photo glows on the screen, that same practiced smile she wears whenever she needs something. My thumb hovers over answer. Years of conditioning whisper. Pick up. Fix it. Keep the peace. But for the first time, I don't move. I finally see the pattern for what it is. Every call, every guilt trip, every family emergency designed to drain me, piece by piece. The phone keeps vibrating on the desk beside the scattered bills, physical reminders of every time I gave in. I grab a pen with shaking hands and start to write, each word trembling but clear. I will not be controlled anymore. The sentence looks foreign on the page, fragile but freeing. For so long, I've been the dependable one, the fixer, the financial safety net. But as I sit in the dark, watching Mom's call fade into a missed notification, something inside me shifts. A terrifying thought surfaces. I don't even know who I am without their demands. I replay the video once more, studying them with new eyes. Mom, the master of guilt, her voice quivering on cue. Dad, the enforcer, always showing up in person when persuasion fails. And Ethan, my baby brother, the one I swore to protect, now using my love like a weapon. Each gesture, each sigh, each look, rehearsed and perfected. The truth is merciless, but it's also liberating. For the first time in my life, I can finally see the stage I've been performing on. And I'm ready to step off. They've mastered their roles in this quiet family performance. Each word rehearsed, each expression deliberate, every manipulation disguised as love. My phone lights up again. Ethan. The preview shows only a few words. Sis, I really need your help with. I set the phone face down. The screen goes dark, and in the silence, a single thought claws its way through the noise. How do you break free from the people who built the walls around your life? Somewhere beyond their reach, beyond the guilt and the control, the answer waits. And for the first time in my life, I'm ready to find it. Have you ever realized that the people closest to you are nothing like who you believed they were? That every shared smile, every "I love you," was part of a pattern? The video still plays on my laptop. But this time, I notice something I'd missed. Notifications flashing across the top of the screen while the recording was still happening. Frantic messages from Aunt Susan appearing one after another. Karen, are you sure about this? What if she finds out? We should delete this. My pulse slows. My hands stop trembling. Because now it's clear, this wasn't a moment caught by accident. It was planned. Every cruel joke, every mocking laugh, every word dripping with contempt, rehearsed, coordinated, intentional. Dad's voice echoes through the recording again, and suddenly memories crash over me like a rising tide. Last month's texts about the mortgage. Your father and I could lose everything. Is that what you want? The month before, Ethan's in trouble. He needs you right now. And before that, family comes first. Don't disappoint us again. Each message, perfectly timed, arriving when I was exhausted, lonely, or desperate to prove my worth. They trained me like a lab experiment, conditioning me with guilt and obligation until the sound of a notification became a command. I close my eyes and I'm back at the office, 3 months ago. Dad towering over my desk while my coworkers pretended not to notice. Your mother's crying because of you, he said loud enough for everyone to hear. Is this job more important than your family? I remember the sting of humiliation, the heat in my face, and the quiet click of the bank transfer I made just to make him leave. Every time I gave in, I told myself it was love. Now I know it was control. Ethan's voice echoes from the video again, his laughter sharp and cold. Watch this, sis. I just tell her it's an emergency, works every time. The sound rips through me. My brother. My baby brother, the one I used to protect from nightmares, now using me as his personal safety net. The last time he called, I canceled my vacation to help. Before that, I emptied part of my savings. Every emergency was theater, a script written to drain me, not just of money, but of self-worth. A message blinks on my screen, breaking the spiral. Jessica. Hey, you've seemed off lately. Want to grab coffee? She's the one who noticed weeks ago, who gently suggested I talk to her mentor, a man named Michael, about setting boundaries. Back then, I brushed it off. Now, I type before I can overthink it. Are you free now? Her reply comes instantly, always for you. Same place. For the first time, someone is reaching for me without asking for anything in return. The phone rings again. Mom. Her voice slices through the air, cold and controlled. What do you think you're doing? Without your help, this family falls apart. Is that what you want? She pauses, letting the guilt sink in. Your father's not well. Ethan's about to lose his apartment. If you walk away now, don't expect to come back. The words land like darts, but this time something inside me resists. The guilt rises, but anger rises higher. A hot, cleansing anger that burns away the fog I've been living in. My fingers hover over the keyboard. Then I type. I'm not sending money this month. The response is immediate, a flood of messages. Accusations. Blame. Threats. Each one trying to pull me back into the same old script. But I don't look away. Because for once, I'm the one writing the ending. The screen vibrates again. Another message. This time, it's from Michael. My phone buzzes again. A message from Michael. Jessica told me what's going on. Remember, setting boundaries isn't betrayal. Call me if you need backup. His words settle in my chest like an anchor, steady, grounding, just as another notification blinks across my laptop screen. Subject: Lily's account, next steps. The moment I open it, my breath catches. Lines of text unfold before me, black and white evidence that cuts sharper than any argument. An email thread between my family members. Detailed, organized, deliberate. Every emergency, every favor, every crisis planned weeks in advance. Each message marked with phrases like, "Time this after payday." "Keep the pressure consistent." "Maximize impact." It wasn't chaos. It was choreography. They had been planning my exhaustion, scripting my guilt, engineering my obedience. This wasn't about love or help. It was control, the slow dismantling of my independence disguised as family obligation. Mom's name flashes on my phone again, her smiling contact photo now a grotesque reflection of every lie she's told. But for the first time, I let it ring. I don't pick up. I just stare at the email that changes everything. What else have they hidden behind their perfect family act? What other truths rot beneath the surface? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hours later, in the middle of my office, her voice slices through the noise. "Karen. Sharp. Cold. Public. How dare you ignore my calls?" Heads turn. The entire marketing floor goes silent. I clutch my coffee mug to keep my hands from trembling. "Mom, I'm at work." The words come out steadier than I feel. But she laughs, that same practiced laugh from the video, echoing through my speakerphone. "Oh, so now you're too important for your own family? What happened to being grateful for everything we've done for you?" Heat floods my face as my supervisor glances out of his office. The damage is done. Exactly how she wanted it. That evening, at Uncle Mike's birthday dinner, I slip into a quiet corner, hoping to blend into the background. But Dad's voice rises above the clinking of glasses. "Some people think they're too good for family once they get a fancy office job." His smirk finds me across the table. I feel every eye turn my way. But this time, I don't shrink. I set my fork down, the sound sharp against the china. "Actually, Dad," I say, my voice calm but clear, "some people just don't want to be treated like an ATM anymore." The table goes still. Dad coughs mid-sip. Aunt Susan freezes. She knows exactly what I mean. The video she sent still burns in my mind like a live wire. Later, in the mirror of my apartment bathroom, I barely recognize the woman staring back. Her shoulders are squared. Her jaw steady. Her eyes awake. I think of Karen's theatrics, Richard's public humiliation, Ethan's endless emergencies. Each attack has done the opposite of what they intended. It's made me stronger. Because now, I see it. Their power only works when I hand it to them. My phone buzzes again. "Ethan, hey sis, I'm in a tight spot. Can you help?" I stare at the message for a long moment, and then I put the phone down. The silence that follows feels revolutionary. I open my laptop and start a new document. Title: Documentation of Financial Exploitation. Every transaction. Every guilt-filled transfer. Every emotional ambush disguised as love. I list them all: mortgages, car loans, emergencies. The numbers pile up fast. Too fast. It's not generosity anymore. It's evidence. I take a deep breath, the weight lifting from my shoulders as truth fills the space they used to occupy. A new text flashes on my screen. "Jessica again. Coffee tomorrow? Been worried about you." For the first time in years, I smile. Not out of duty, but out of freedom. Jessica, who's seen this pattern unfold for years. Jessica, who has never asked me for a single dollar. I text back a quick yes, a warmth blooming in my chest, a flicker of hope I haven't felt in years. The next morning, the familiar aroma of coffee and fresh pastries at the daily grind wraps around me like a comforting blanket. Jessica slides into the seat across the table. And then I see Michael, my old graduate school mentor, approaching with 3 steaming mugs. "I hope you don't mind," Jessica says softly. "I asked Michael to join us. We're concerned." Michael sets the mugs down in front of us, his steady gaze meeting mine, the same calm focus that guided me through my thesis anxiety years ago. "Your father came by my office yesterday," he says quietly, leaning in. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't lecture. But the concern in his tone is enough. The old Lily would have crumbled at this news. But I think of the documentation on my laptop, the record of Karen's public humiliations, Richard's wine-soaked accusations, and I feel ready. I wrap my hands around the warm mug, letting its solidity ground me. I speak carefully, almost clinical. "They're escalating." Because they're losing control, I answer myself before Jessica can respond. Jessica reaches across the table, squeezing my hand gently. "You don't have to do this alone." Michael nods and slides a crisp business card across the table. "I know someone who specializes in financial abuse cases. Just to understand your options." I take it, feeling the clean edges between my fingers. On its blank surface, I see possibilities I never allowed myself to imagine. The tight pressure in my chest begins to shift. It's not quite peace. Not triumph. But it's the first real breath I've taken in years. Later, Ethan interrupts the weekend quiet at Thompson Park. "Everything our parents did was for you, Lily," he says, gesturing across the community barbecue. "The music lessons, the college tours." I notice how every childhood friend's eyes flicker uncomfortably as he continues his performance of victimhood. "Tell them about the car they bought you," he says with false sweetness. I correct him quietly. "The one I'm still paying off 5 years later, the one you convinced me to co-sign." His face reddens. "There you go again, twisting everything. You know what your problem is, Lily? You've always been selfish." Something inside me snaps. Years of swallowed words rise to the surface. Selfish. My voice carries over the stunned silence. Was it selfish when I drained my savings for your business? Or when I worked double shifts to cover Mom's mortgage? I see Ethan pale, mouth opening and closing, as murmurs ripple through the gathering. I think of the video, the one they laughed over about me being their personal ATM. The evidence still burns in my mind. That night, I sit cross-legged on my bedroom floor, surrounded by old photo albums. Each smiling family picture now tells a different story. The Christmas I skipped a vacation to pay for Dad's emergency. The graduation where Mom guilted me into covering Ethan's student loan. The first job celebration, my starting bonus vanished into Karen's credit card debt the following week. Tears blur my vision, but now they feel different. Not hurt. Not shame. Release. At my desk, I open my laptop and expand the document I started. Dates, amounts, screenshots of texts. Each piece of evidence transforms shame into a weapon of truth. I create folders, organize years of financial records, and record every interaction. A plan emerges. Not just survival. Exposure. I pause over one last folder buried deep in my email archives. Inside, the original house loan documents, with my signature forged in Karen's rushed handwriting. The missing piece. The key to everything. Standing again before the mirror, I no longer see a victim. I see a woman who will no longer be the family scapegoat. "I will not be manipulated anymore," I declare, voice steady. "I will not be their ATM." The pressure in my chest transforms. Not quite peace. Not quite triumph. But the first real breath in years. The cursor blinks on my screen, steady as a heartbeat. I type and delete the email subject line 7 times. Finally, the words feel right. Finally, I am ready to reclaim my life. My fingers hover above the keyboard as I review the spreadsheet one final time. Every transaction, every guilt-laced request, Every emergency payment is there, meticulously documented. The numbers tell a story of quiet exploitation, one I can no longer ignore. Michael's voice echoes in my head from yesterday's call. Send me everything, Lily. We'll make the case airtight. So I do. Line by line. January 2020, roof repair, $8,400. February 2020, mom's medical bills, $3,200. March 2020, Ethan's car repairs, $2,800. On and on it goes. 4 years of financial bleed-out. When I total the column, the number stares back at me. $147,632. Nearly my entire life savings. Gone. The phone rings, mom's ringtone. I silence it without hesitation and turn back to my email. The final paragraph reads, "This will be my last communication regarding financial support. Any further attempts to request money will be treated as harassment and handled legally. All documentation has been submitted to my attorney." Before doubt can creep in, I press send. The soft whoosh of the email leaving my inbox sounds like a door slamming shut, for good. The backlash is immediate. Voicemails, texts, missed calls. Mom's trembling voice crackles through the speaker. "How dare you betray your own family like this, after all we've done for you?" Delete. Dad's message follows, sharp and venomous. "Ungrateful" doesn't even begin to cover it. Delete. Then Ethan's text flashes across my screen. "Way to stab your family in the back. Real classy, sis." Screenshot. Block. At the cafe, I find temporary peace. The smell of roasted coffee and warm pastries grounds me as I slide into my usual booth with Jessica. For the first time in months, I breathe. Until I hear his voice. "Ethan." Loud, performative, and already halfway to my table. There she is, the family traitor. Heads turn. Conversations die down. He thrives on attention, always has. "Tell them how you abandoned your own blood, Lily." The old me would have frozen. But I meet his glare head-on. "You mean how I stopped being your personal ATM?" A quiet laugh ripples through the cafe. Ethan's face reddens. "You've taken everything from us." "Actually," I reply, opening my phone and tilting the screen toward him. "I can show everyone exactly who took what from whom." "Want to see?" The color drains from his face. He steps back, voice shaking. "You've changed." "Yes," I say simply. "I have." That evening, I stand in the rented community hall before my extended family. A projector hums behind me, casting light across rows of uneasy faces. I grip the remote and begin. "Thank you all for coming. Tonight is about transparency and truth." Click. Mom's frantic messages fill the screen. "Emergency, please send money." Click. Dad's threatening emails demanding more. Click. Ethan's long chain of guilt trips. "You're the only one who can help me, sis." A hush falls over the room. Aunt Susan's hand flies to her mouth. Uncle Jim stares at the floor. Cousin Rachel whispers something sharp to her husband. The truth, once hidden behind tears and manipulation, now glows on the screen for everyone to see. And then, my phone buzzes. Jessica has posted a video of Ethan's cafe meltdown, paired with a caption defending me. Moments later, Michael shares my documentation with his professional network, his post gaining traction fast. Support pours in from strangers, colleagues, and advocates for financial abuse survivors. Their voices rise together, forming a wall of solidarity. I glance back at the audience. My parents, the architects of this deception, sit frozen. Their practiced expressions of guilt and authority crumble. Ethan shrinks in his seat, eyes fixed on the floor. I end the presentation with the video that started it all. Their laughter, their cruelty, their words that broke the illusion. As the clip fades to black, I face the room one last time. "My name is Lily," I say, voice steady. "And this ends today." The silence that follows isn't awkward. It's cleansing. It's freedom. The sound of their laughter fills the hall, cold, sharp, cruel, but this time, it doesn't pierce me. Instead, it lands like the final nail sealing the coffin of their control. As people file out, I catch sight of something unexpected. Ethan sits alone in the corner, his shoulders slumped, eyes fixed on his phone. For the briefest moment, the mask slips, arrogance replaced by something fragile. Regret. When he notices me watching, he looks away, jaw tight. Through the thin walls, Aunt Susan's voice trembles on the phone. "I can't believe what we did to her. All those years." Her words trail off, thick with guilt, the sound of someone realizing they were part of the cruelty. Back in my apartment, I spread the evidence across my desk. Printed emails, screenshots, voice transcripts, and bank statements. My laptop glows in the dim light, notifications pouring in. Each message of support feels like another brick reinforcing the wall between me and their manipulation. I open a blank document. Legal Action, Phase 1. The title alone makes my pulse steady. This isn't panic anymore, it's strategy. Step by step, I outline everything. The timeline, the accounts, the next legal filings. Each sentence a quiet act of reclaiming power. Then, a new notification. Anonymous sender. Subject: the final piece of the puzzle is closer than you think. The preview text flashes, cryptic and unsettling. My pulse quickens. Whatever this is, it could change everything. Moments later, my inbox floods again, not support this time, but threats. 15 emails in less than an hour, each dripping with accusation and venom. Mom's latest reads like a war declaration, filled with phrases like moral bankruptcy and sacred family duty. Then Dad's name appears, attached to a news article where he's quoted calling me a daughter who's abandoned her family's values. The irony burns, but the sting fades quickly. I minimize the window and focus on what matters. My case file, now nearly complete. On my laptop screen, years of evidence line up like dominoes. Bank records. Threatening messages. Audio recordings. Each piece connects, building a truth too solid to deny. Tomorrow, it all goes public. The press conference is confirmed. There's no going back. Then, on the muted TV in the corner, Ethan's face appears, pale and rehearsed behind a podium. Mom stands beside him, her hand resting dramatically on his shoulder. "Family isn't just blood," Ethan declares, voice trembling with fake sincerity. "It's about loyalty, about sacrifice. My sister has forgotten that." The familiar pang of guilt presses against my ribs, but it doesn't sink in. Not this time. Instead, I remember the video that started everything, their laughter as they called me their walking ATM. That memory steals me. A message pops up from Sarah, my PR consultant. "Venues ready. Press confirmed. Are you ready?" I type back one word. "Yes." The next morning, the air hums with tension. Camera lights flash as I step up to the podium, USB drive heavy in my hand. The weight isn't fear, it's truth. It's freedom. For years, I begin, my voice calm but firm. I believed that family meant sacrifice, your money, your peace, your identity. Today, I'm here to show what that sacrifice really cost. The first bank statement appears on the screen behind me. Mom's desperate text about a mortgage she never paid, the money used for a luxury cruise instead. Dad's email threatening to show up at my job if I didn't cover Ethan's emergency repairs. Repairs for a car he sold a week later for cash. A wave of murmurs ripples through the crowd. Each click of the remote peels back another layer of deception. Gasps. Whispers. Stunned silence. I stay composed, letting the truth do the talking. Finally, I play the video, their laughter echoing through the hall, calling me our little ATM. The sound reverberates like a ghost, then fades into a silence so heavy it feels sacred. One breath. Two. Then, a storm of flashes and shouted questions. Within hours, the story floods social media. The clip goes viral. The carefully crafted image my family built for decades collapses under the weight of their own words. Local stations pick it up. Then, national. A week later, I stand before a different audience, this time at a community forum on financial abuse. Rows of people watch in quiet solidarity. And there they are, Mom, Dad, and Ethan, sitting in the front row. Their lawyers flank them like guards, but even from the stage, I can see it. The cracks. The guilt. The beginning of consequences. I take a breath. I used to think silence was survival, I say softly. But silence only feeds control. And today, we stop feeding it. The crowd rises in applause, not thunderous, but deep and steady, like a heartbeat. And for the first time in years, I feel it. Peace. Not fragile or fleeting, but earned. They arrived, attempting to reclaim control, but their usual strategies felt empty beneath the harsh fluorescent lights and the watchful eyes of everyone in the room. I've shared my side of the story, I said into the microphone, voice calm yet firm, echoing through the hall. Stories of obligation, of loyalty twisted into manipulation, of the daughter who supposedly betrayed her family. But obligation is not love. Duty is not family. Exposing abuse is not betrayal. Applause starts softly, then swells, growing into a wave that drowns out their attempts to interrupt. I watch their faces as their grip on control crumbles, replaced by the dawning awareness that their power was always an illusion. 3 days later, the final confrontation plays out in a courtroom. My lawyer presents our carefully organized dossier, evidence laid bare under the stark, unflinching light. Mom and Dad sit rigid, Ethan by their side, watching as years of manipulation are exposed. The judge's voice cuts through the tension with precision. There is clear evidence of systematic financial exploitation. All claims of entitlement from Miss Anderson are hereby nullified. Relief floods me, a weight lifting for the first time in years. The gallery murmurs approval while my family's attorney scrambles for any possible objection. But it's over. Outside the courthouse, reporters jostle for a word, but my attention is drawn elsewhere. A notification on my phone glows, an encrypted message from an unknown sender. The story isn't fully finished, yet I feel the quiet power of having reclaimed my life. Morning sunlight filters through the floor-to-ceiling windows of my Seattle apartment. The space feels lighter now, as if every fresh coat of paint and rearranged furniture has cleansed the shadows of the past. I place a silver-framed photo of Jessica and me on my desk, beside a certificate from a self-empowerment workshop and a handwritten note from Michael, "You've got this." My laptop displays my updated 5-year plan. Ambitious goals, yes, expanding my marketing consultancy, leading workshops, breaking cycles of financial abuse, maybe even writing a book. Each step represents leaving behind the girl who measured worth in sacrifices and dollars, the family ATM who never had a voice of her own. Later, I sit in the cafe with Jessica, sunlight warming the wooden table between us. We talk business, deadlines and strategies, normal conversation, but it feels empowering. I give advice confidently, surprised by how far I've come. There was a time when I wouldn't have trusted my own judgment. At the community center, I share my story with others navigating toxic family dynamics. Faces turn toward me, some familiar, some strangers carrying burdens I recognize. I recount the video that changed everything, the battles that followed, and the liberation I finally claimed. Recovery isn't linear, I tell them. Some days, you may want to give in. But protecting yourself is not selfish, it's essential. Outside, rain taps gently against the windows. I notice a woman standing alone, shoulders hunched, trembling hands gripping her phone. Her posture mirrors the countless times I felt cornered by my family. "Are you okay?" I ask softly, approaching. Her name is Maria, and her story spills out between sobs, a tale of love measured in transactions, of postponed dreams, of constant guilt. We find shelter under a nearby park pavilion, and I share my journey, watching hope slowly replace despair in her eyes. The first step, I tell her, is believing you deserve better. From my balcony, I watch dawn break over Puget Sound. Golden light stretches across the water, reflecting the freedom I feel inside. A text notification lights up my phone. Ethan, no doubt another demand. I ignore it. I am no longer defined by their expectations. I help others find their voice, teach that worth isn't measured in dollars or sacrifices. I understand now, real love never demands self-destruction. At a local art exhibit, I watch a phoenix rise from scattered chains painted against a breaking dawn. The artist, Sarah, smiles at me. Your story inspired this piece, she says, and I join a small circle exchanging stories and contacts. A photographer wants to document survivor journeys. A counselor plans financial empowerment workshops. Each connection is a seed of something lasting, genuine friendships, collaborations, and networks built on understanding, not obligation. The future stretches wide, unmarked. I am no longer afraid. I am enough, exactly as I am. What does freedom mean to you? Share your vision of a fresh start in the comments below.